What is up, everyone? Crunchy Frog here, and today there has been a wealth of information dropped about both Season 1 of Modern Warfare 3, as well as some interesting info along the lines of the infamous skill-based matchmaking. So today, we officially got the Season 1 roadmap, as well as the full-on blog post detailing absolutely everything that we can expect next week, December 6th, when Season 1 drops in both Warzone and Modern Warfare 3. So today I wanted to put together a video, kind of break down all the biggest points of the blog post. Obviously, as usual, down in the description below, you will find a link to the full blog post so you can read through everything at your own pace and maybe pick on some of the stuff that I kind of gloss over and find the finer details and things and everything like that. But in addition to that, as you guys know, my most famous video on the channel is discussing skill-based matchmaking. And today, alongside the blog post, there was also a press release of sorts from the Call of Duty team that Charlie Intel posted on Twitter that finally kind of delves into skill-based matchmaking, or at least mentions it and kind of how they're going to handle it going forward. So I wanted to put that in the video as well, since that's massive breaking news along with this Season 1 content. So before we get right into that, make sure to leave a like if you enjoy stuff like this. It helps the channel greatly and helps me reach a wider audience. And if you want to see more news throughout the life cycle of Modern Warfare 3 and future CODs to come, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest news. I try to cover every new season, every new bit of info that comes out about the game, as well as some COD discussions and commentaries as well about the big issues plaguing the game at the moment. So with that all out of the way, let's just get right into it. Now, the first thing that I want to cover today, obviously, is that message that they put out about skill-based matchmaking. Obviously, especially on this channel, right? It's a huge thing. It's a huge topic in the community. And for the very first time ever, anyone in the Call of Duty scene, officially, in an official capacity at least, is actually referencing skill being used to find matches for you within Call of Duty. So I'll go ahead and read this entire excerpt out. I'll also put the image of it on screen here. Again, credit to Charlie Intel over on Twitter for providing this. A little bit of background first as well. I've seen from a couple other creators that this was something that they mentioned in a meeting. You know how Call of Duty devs love to pull in all the creators into a meeting and, you know, talk with them about upcoming events. And this was something that they discussed with them where in the past it's been a very taboo subject. So you know, we'll just get right into the quote here. They say, "We know there is a lot of interest in the matchmaking experience, especially around how skill contributes to how lobbies and matches are put together. Nothing is more important to us than the experience players have with the game, and matchmaking is a big part of that. We've been working on our matchmaking system for well over 10 years, and we continue to spend a ton of time and energy on improving the matchmaking process. This involves people working at our Call of Duty studios and our back-end services teams at Demonware, and other groups like our Player Insights team. It's a large effort that we've worked on for many years, and our approach combines latency, search time, and skill." That's the big one right there, and skill, along with, quote, "many other factors to try and find the best match experience for you. Talking about this topic in detail can be hard, and we haven't spent the time to pull together all of our work to share with you our insights and improvements over the many years. We're looking forward to doing that in the coming weeks after Season 1 launches, and we'll also make it a part of our ongoing discussions with the community." Obviously signed the Call of Duty team. So this is massive, right? This is something that we've talked about even in my skill-based matchmaking video essay. I went on to say, even if they mention it, even if they acknowledge it, that is a massive step forward. Now, this doesn't mean, you know, they're taking out skill-based matchmaking with Season 1. This doesn't mean they're toning it down. This doesn't mean any actionable thing is happening. As a matter of fact, in my personal opinion, I know they're probably going to try to gaslight us, right? They're probably going to try to downplay how much skill is involved, even though we have data to the contrary. They're going to try to make it seem like, oh no, we're definitely finding you the best, most lag-free experience, while also maybe sprinkling some skill in. Just speaking from experience with this company, that's kind of what we can expect. But at the very least, this is a level of transparency and, you know, honesty that we have yet to see from Activision or any of the development companies. So this is massive. I won't speculate too much here on this video. Obviously, I want to get to the meat of what Season 1 is bringing, but I wanted to cover this at the beginning of the video and get this out of the way because I think this is very, very important news. This is massive news for the community. And obviously, whenever they do release, you know, whether it be a blog post, a video, some tweets, whatever it may be that they allude to here in the last couple sentences, here in the next couple weeks, I will be doing a full video on that, as well as breaking down everything they say, giving my thoughts. And I'm really hoping that maybe there's some good news hidden in here somewhere, that, you know, maybe the algorithm can be and will be adjusted better to the community's likes and needs as we go forward. Maybe they've finally heard that we are not happy with the system the way it is. And a small part of me believes hopefully the purchase, you know, the acquisition rather, by Microsoft maybe pushed their hand forward. Right, we've heard several email chains or in company discussions already claiming that Xbox was not happy with how things were shaking out. So maybe that is a good sign of things to come. So with that all out of the way, let's just hop on over to the blog post. Now, again, I will be linking the entire thing below. So if you guys want to read more about this, you want to learn more, or read all their little, marketing blurbs beneath all of these things, definitely feel free to go over there and check it out. It does have a lot of useful information. But the first thing we'll start out with, and again, you guys will probably see the roadmap somewhere on screen as well throughout this video. But the very first thing that they cover is the four new 6v6 and 2v2 maps. So obviously, we talked about this in my last video covering what to expect in Season 1. And the very first thing is 3 brand new, not remastered, not reworked, 6v6 maps. And the first of which is Meat, which by name alone is going to become a meme. But, basically they've said it's going to be a smaller, more tight quarters map. It looks pretty cool. Again, we'll get an image up on screen that they have with a couple screenshots around the map and the TAC map as well. So that's the first map coming. We have Greece, again, another 6v6 map as well. I think this one looks very cool, looks very vibrant. You can see there's a lot of swimming opportunities. Does look a little large from the TAC map, but we'll have to see what it actually looks like once we're in game. Next up is Rio, which it looks like it's almost kind of like favela in a way. Looks like there's a large shopping center maybe in the middle, something like that. It does mention a mall with the streets on the exterior, so looking forward to that as well. Another bright, vibrant map. They're kind of moving away from the drab blacks and grays and browns and greens of the past, and livening it up with some color. And then finally, the last of the new maps is obviously the Gunfight map, training facility. Again, you'll see that on your screen here. And, they're bringing back the Gunfight mode, which I'm super happy. I don't know why I wasn't here on launch, but hey, bringing it back with Season 1 is, better late than never, I guess you could say. And, obviously with that coming back in, they did confirm that we are getting the other maps as well. We're getting carryover maps from Modern Warfare 2 to fill out that gunfight experience. So we're not just going to be fighting on one map. That's not it at all. So it goes on and explains what Gunfight is, but you guys already know what Gunfight is. It's been in 2 or 3 or 4 CODs by now. But they do say that in total 5 Gunfight maps will be at launch. So the brand new one that's coming with Season 1, and then 4 carry forward maps from Modern Warfare 2. And that includes Alley, Black Site, Exhibit, and Shipment, which obviously Shipment is live as of making this video in Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer. So if you want to get your weapons grinded up and everything like that, make sure to head over to the Rustment playlist that's currently live. But Shipment will also be available as a Gunfight map. Next up, they talk about some brand new game modes that they're bringing. So the first one is All or Nothing, where it says basically you just deploy with throwing knives, no ammo, and you get 1 elimination to activate the scavenger perk, allowing you to retrieve ammo pickups for your weapon. The first to land 20 eliminations wins. Now, I think this was a mode, correct me if I'm wrong, that was back in like the original Black Ops and stuff like that as one of the party modes. So it's cool to see this returning as well. I don't know how much I'll play it, but definitely good to see them adding modes. Now, this is a mid-season kind of mode that they're adding, but I just really want to cover it because it sounds really cool. So the first one is Vortex, and again, this is a limited time mode, and it will be introduced in season. And basically, it describes it as, in this free-for-all mode, one player spawns with the infamous zombies wonder weapon, the one-shot ray gun. Whoever eliminates the operator with the ray gun becomes the new owner of this powerful and otherworldly pistol. Vortex takes place on 3 remixed multiplayer maps: Satan's Quarry, Spore Yard, and Tetanus. So I think the coolest part about this game, and obviously it sounds fun, the idea of kind of killing the most powerful player to get the powerful weapon, and kind of a king of the hill sort of thing, but it's all based around the weapon. I think that sounds like a really fun game idea in general, but the fact that they're bringing remixed multiplayer maps is huge. Even in the screenshot that you'll see in the blog post and possibly up on screen now, it just seems like there's a massively different vibe that's carrying along with the map, right? Everything's glowing, everything's like, maybe it looks like nighttime there on Scrapyard. So they're trying to zombie theme it essentially, and I think that's super awesome. Now, I don't know how long those maps will stick around. Maybe they'll just be there for a month or two while this mode is active. Either way, I think that's massive, and I think for them to do like renditions of multiplayer maps just as a little toss away for these limited time modes, I think that's awesome. That's a lot of content that we haven't really gotten in past years, and I kind of hope they stick around depending on how they play, of course. Next up, the next kind of limited time mode is Santa's Playground, where it says, Season's Eating Santa Naws is here to spread horror and fear. Complete event challenges to earn rewards and visit classic holiday-themed maps, including Shipmas and Hangover. Just try not to get bitten. Expect more information on this event and additional limited time modes closer to mid-season. So, obviously, again, we're getting 2 new themed maps. Shipmas comes around every year. That's like a holiday staple at this point for the last 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever years, right? Every Christmas comes around, we get Shipmas, and then we never see it again, which is fine. So that's coming. Hangover, obviously, that sounds like they're just remaking another map as well, to make it a little Christmas themed. So that's awesome. The next mode that they kind of talk about here is they're bringing back Infection. Obviously, you guys all know what Infection is. One player, spawns in and then tries to infect other players. They're also re-releasing Headquarters, which I feel stupid now because I thought Headquarters was there on launch, but apparently it isn't. So they're bringing that back. Obviously, you know how that works. It's kind of like Hardpoint, but you have to capture the point and hold it until nobody responds, stuff like that. Classic from the whole way back in COD 4. So they're bringing that back. Then this one sounds really interesting. They're bringing Team Gunfight, and this is going to be on the standard multiplayer maps. Players all receive the same randomized loadout, just like in Gunfight. The loadout changes throughout the match, and it essentially sounds like Gunfight, but scaled up to 6v6 and on the 6v6 map. So super cool. I love Gunfight. I do love the fact that it's just you and another person. It's easier to just play with a buddy, right, and have that more, kind of teamwork, camaraderie experience than you would from a 6v6, most likely with randoms. But either way, I think that sounds awesome, and it's a very cool iteration that I'm glad they're bringing to the game. Next up, they are bringing new perks, and the first up is Assassin Vest, which is obviously the vest, which is like the big perk of your class. And it gives you 2 equipment slots, a tactical and a lethal. You get no field upgrade with this one, and then obviously get 3 gear slots, gloves, boots, and gear. And what it does is kills don't display skulls. You are immune to UAV and enemy radar effects, including while stationary. So I don't like that, because that kind of takes away the whole point of like Ghost beforehand, right? You had to be on the move, so you couldn't just camp with your Ghost active. But this sounds like you're immune to UAV even when you're just chilling. And it says if it is equipped with that Ghost camo, that gear, that's essentially just the Ghost perk, you gain the effects of Hijacked, which is the IFF strobe. So I mean, that just sounds a little overpowered. We'll have to see how it works. I don't like that, like I said, they took away that movement aspect. And I don't like that they're adding something that's already seemingly in the game and just moving it around. So I'm not crazy about this change. Again, we'll have to see. We'll kind of monitor as the seasons go on to see, if it's actually a bad thing or not. And I'm pretty sure they mentioned other perks that were coming later in season, but I don't see them on this blog post, so we'll kind of worry about those when we get there. But next up, they talk about the new Killstreaks that they are bringing. Obviously, Swarm is coming back, if you remember that from Black Ops 2, pretty much operating the same way with a large number of mosquito drones that provide blanket coverage over an entire area. That's going to be 15 kills or 1,875 points. Then there's also an EMP, which is 13 kills or about 1,600 points. That you guys know what an EMP does. Disrupts enemy kill streaks, equipment, anything that uses electricity, essentially. Again, that's been in the series on and off since the original Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009. They also say that ranked play launches mid-season. Now, here's the thing. If you remember in the beginning of the video, we talked about them talking more about skill-based matchmaking. Part of my brain hopes that part of this whole transparency initiative and quote-unquote a discussion around how much skill is used in matchmaking, I'm wondering if when they finally drop the ranked play for Modern Warfare 3, I'm wondering if that's also around the time that they will speak up and provide some information on skill-based matchmaking. And this is just the the childhood dreamer in me here, but I'm kind of hoping that means that they agree to scale it back in casual play. That this provides them an opportunity to say, look, here's your ranked mode. If you want to sweat it out, find out how good you are, play against people your skill level, rise up through the ranks. Here's ranked play, right? If you want a super sweaty, competitive, on the edge of your seat experience, here it is, baby. Here's ranked. Go chase that, gold or platinum tier or whatever, go ahead, go for it. While in the meantime, in our casual playlist, we're going to dial it back, make it a much more casual and laid back experience, and possibly relax the skill side of the matchmaking significantly to kind of bring us back to prior CODs so that we have the best of both worlds, right? We talked about this to death in my skill-based video, so I won't go into it too much here. But the fact that this is launching mid-season and they said they're going to give us more details on skill-based matchmaking mid-season, I had to draw a parallel there at some point, just to, in the interest of hope, or speaking it into existence at the very least. So with that all wrapped up, the next thing they go into detail is about zombies. So obviously they're bringing a bunch of new stuff to zombies. They're bringing a new story act. So it says a massive gateway has appeared in the exclusion zone. Investigate that area and engage in new endgame content. And then obviously there's probably going to be new cutscenes and everything like that, new missions that the new zombies mode is all about there. Then it goes on to talk about those gateways that it just mentioned, the dark ether rifts. And it states their labyrinth-like experience, challenging squads to complete a series of objectives in a given time. And so it seems like that end game reward, which I'm hoping if they're instituting something like that, maybe they're going to bump up the time for zombies, because I know I've heard several people talk about it. I personally have felt the effects of it. You don't have nearly enough time to set up, and by the time you're all set up and ready to go fight some of these end game bosses, or in this case, go to this end game activity that might be, a whole series of challenges, the time's almost up, right? And you almost got an exfil already. So I'm hoping they increase that, or maybe these ether rifts reset your countdown or something when you go in them. I don't know. It doesn't provide that information, but we'll have to see how that plays out once it comes out. Then obviously there's a new wonder weapon, a new warlord to fight, and a whole lot more, it says. So that's kind of what they're bringing to zombies. I won't go into too much detail. Again, if you guys want to see a lot more detail on those couple of points, you can go to the blog post and it'll kind of explain everything there. They also go on to say that there's new classified schematics. So schematics are the things that you can kind of build and bring into the match. And I'll flash those up on screen here as well. And one of the ones it talks about is Dogbone. Consume the Dogbone to summon the strongest friendly Hellhound companion. So you actually get one that fights on your side, which is super cool. The pet Hellhound will follow you and attack nearby enemies until its health runs out. So that's really cool. I think that's an awesome thing actually to institute. There's the golden armor plate. Consuming the new golden armor plate replaces the armor carrier with plates that automatically repair over time, in addition to providing the user additional damage resistances. So that's pretty cool. There's the ether blade, which is a special throwing knife with infinite ammo and a boomerang-like combat style. So kind of like Hell's Retrieval from Mob of the Dead and Blood of the Dead. Now, they don't go on to say, and they don't mention anything, I don't believe, about the Rift Run. But obviously, the new Wonder Weapon's up there as well. And, it talks about the Warlord, Dakaibi. I'm going to butcher that name. I apologize, but there is a new warlord to take on, and as you see, she kind of has the drone goggles on, and obviously she is a drone commander in this. It states so you'll have to kind of fight off a fleet of self-programmed autonomous drones and everything like that. So next it goes on to talk about Warzone, which, as you know, on this channel, I don't really cover Warzone. I don't play it anymore. I haven't played it much since, for several years now. I haven't been too into it, but obviously the big thing here is the brand new Warzone map, Urzikstan. Now, if you've been playing zombies since launch of Modern Warfare 3, it's just that map. But, obviously that's going to be the new Warzone map. And then they are carrying forward Ashika Island and Vondel from Modern Warfare 2. So obviously Al Mazrah is gone. It's done. But those other maps are coming up. And then there is a COD miss event where you'll get to encounter the zombie Santa, go undead deer hunting, open presents under the holiday trees, all while engaging in new challenging events with rewards and more. So there is a separate kind of I guess you would call it a roadmap of sorts of everything coming into Warzone. They call it the deep dive. So I'll put that up on screen probably while you've been listening to me ramble here the last couple minutes. And that just goes over everything, obviously, that's brought forward, a lot of which is just the new gameplay mechanics like movement and stuff that's carried forward from Modern Warfare 3. So pretty much it just goes on and on and on about Warzone. And that's to be expected, right? Warzone is their cash cow. That is how they plan on making all their money, stuff like that. So that's just kind of is what it is. So next up, they go over some new, some more stuff coming to the multiplayer and everything like that. Obviously, the first up is 5 new weapons, which if you're like me, and if the camo system works the way it did last year, this means that you no longer have to use the knives or the launcher, because there will be a launcher that we'll talk about in a second, to get your mastery camo. So that's awesome. The first one up is the XRK Stalker, which is a sniper rifle. It looks very familiar. I don't know if that's because it's from a past game or if it's just another one of those like Modern Warfare 1 guns that they're bringing into this game. But again, that looks like a bolt-to-action sniper rifle, so that looks really cool. Obviously, it mentions the one-hit eliminations. That's kind of the archetype of the bolt-action sniper rifle, so it'll be cool to see that. I know a lot of people have been very, very underwhelmed by the snipers in this game, so hopefully this tosses those folks a bone and gives them a gun that they like using. Next up is the Ram 7. Again, plucked directly out of Modern Warfare 2019, so that kind of is what it is. But hey, it's another assault rifle. It's another assault rifle, and I'm more than happy to do that. I'll be able to grind out the forged camo and everything like that pretty quickly for it, and kind of move on from there. Next up is Storm Ender, which is a launcher, and it fires a localized EMP on a slight delay, destroys tactical and lethal equipment, and temporarily disables other electronic devices, and has the power to shoot down specific kill streaks and take out drones with its lock-on capabilities, unlimited recharging ammo, and the ability to disable and delay enemy equipment. This weapon serves as a very real shock to the system, though damage to operators is minimal. So this seems like much more of a support weapon. It's not a launcher that you can go out there and kill enemies with. It's much more for equipment and kill streaks. So I know the camo challenges for that are about to be toxic as hell. So I'm going to try to see if there's enough guns in the game right now. I think my quick maths are telling me there is, such that I never have to touch this thing unless I'm legitimately just bringing down a kill streak or something like that sometimes. But hopefully I don't have to grind this out, because people have already been complaining that the current rocket launcher is impossible to get camos for, because you have to basically ask the enemy to lay down claymores for you to get the challenge. So, but that's awesome. It seems like a really unique weapon, and it looks futuristic without looking way too like gimmicky and futuristic-y. So I think it's a really cool addition. Next up, we have the HRM9, which is an SMG, obviously just a 9mm submachine gun with a high rate of fire. So once again, these are just adding more bodies to the ranks, so to speak, especially for that camo grind. Next up is TAC Evolver. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but essentially it is a multi-caliber LMG capable of firing 7.62 or 5.56 with minimal adjustments to the weapon. So I'm not sure how that's going to be working, but obviously I think that's the one that's already in the game currently. They added for season or like weekly challenges for week 4. I think this is the weapon you get, and it looks like a pretty cool LMG, and I'm interested to find out how that swapping of ammunition works. So we'll have to loop back on and check that out. So once again, all of these, if the camo system works like it did last year, that is less bad weapons that you have to grind, because typically the mastery camo system works is you start unlocking that third camo. Last year was polyatomic, this year it's priceless, I think it's called, after so many platinum, or in this case forged, challenges are met. Now that means if they add more guns, you might not have to do entire weapon categories, right? So with this out, I don't think I'll ever have to touch the knives, or I'll never have to touch the launchers even, and just level up the guns in the other categories and get their camos to reach that 36 mark and be able to grind towards the final end game of Interstellar. So that's awesome. I know somebody like me that just hates using knives, hates using launchers, that's always a super cool thing, that I could just grind out a couple more assault rifles or another LMG or sniper rifle or something and still get that mastery camo without putting my fist through the monitor trying to use a melee weapon. So next up, we have the new attachments, which are obviously these aftermarket parts, which they introduced this year with Modern Warfare 3, that kind of drastically change up how a weapon looks or reacts, or they're just kind of more or less overpowered, if we're to be honest, attachments and stuff like that. So the first one is the Jack Purifier, which is an undermounted underbarrel flamethrower, something that we saw back in Black Ops 1. So they're bringing that back, and that's an aftermarket pack. Obviously, we have the double barrel kit for the AMR-9, which is really interesting. The AMR-9 essentially becomes a double barrel SMG, which is not something I thought I'd ever see. There's a Jack Thunder LMG kit for the Sidewinder that essentially turns the Sidewinder into a LMG and ramps the fire rate the longer that you hold in the trigger. So that sounds awesome. I'm just going to put that out there. There's also the Jack BRB, which is a compensator that borders on excessive, offering a phenomenal reduction to recoil by significantly increasing muzzle report, resulting in extended red dot on the enemy radar. So that's a cool trade-off that we've never seen. It is the anti-silencer. So it really helps recoil, but it actually makes your red dot way more prominent and last longer after firing. And I'm assuming with the increasing muzzle report the dimensions, I don't know if that means just the sound, which also, if people are sound whoring with their headphones, they're going to hear you better, but also maybe the flash at the end of the, I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen this in game, but that'll be really cool. And I think that's really awesome, them using the fact that red dots are back on the minimap to even expand out the type of things that they can bring to the game. In this case, adding a anti-silencer that allows you, a little better gun control while also, making you a little more known on the map. The next is Jack Bullseye, a very low-profile dot optic, limited interference from framework. A glassless optic, crisp and clear sight for snappy target acquisition, a signal burst conversion kit designed for accuracy and controllability with 4-round burst. So that's for the Holger 5.56, just turning it into a burst rifle. Jack Beholder rifle kit that turns the tier, which is like the magnum of this game, handgun into a basically a rifle almost, into a single shot rifle. So that's pretty cool. The Jack Headhunter carbine conversion turns the Rival 9 into assault rifles. Into an assault rifle, more or less, with a 3-round burst conversion kit that excels at mid-range combat. So that's super awesome. I'm super cool, super psyched rather, to see all these cool new aftermarket parts being made, and how that kind of changes up the meta, or changes up, guns. It kind of honestly reminds me, if any of you guys have played Pokemon as well, kind of reminds me how in, updates or new games, they bring out like a new evolution for an old Pokemon, or stuff like the Mega Evolution mechanic that just turns crappy guns, in this case, or crappy Pokemon into usable ones. And so that's really cool. I like seeing that. It's not just balancing adjustments, but also giving them full-on attachments or aftermarket parts to make them more or less viable in certain circumstances. Then obviously it goes on about the Black Cell. The big surprise there. They're going to charge you out the ass for Black Cell. They're probably going to have some cool stuff in there, admittedly, but it kind of is what it is. And so we won't go over anything like that, But next up, they do mention the operators that headline the Battle Pass. We have Nolan, which is a cool guy. He got like a mask on, everything like that. That Dokaibi, which is the drone operator lady that is featured in Zombies as the Warlord. And then Abolisher, which is the Black Cell operator. Now, I'm not sure, the skin that they show looks kind of crazy. I'm not sure if you get a similarly cool skin just for the Battle Pass without the Black Cell, or if this is only for Black Cell. I'm not too sure there. They're going to try to get money out of you no matter how they can, really. Then obviously it goes on, and we're not going to really delve into any of it too much, but a whole bunch of store offerings, because of course, they got to bring 1 million new bundles to store to make them money. And then next up, they are bringing new challenges and seasonal progression as well. So in addition to daily armory challenges, weapons, and operator, there are now going to be more of these weekly challenges. So obviously we had 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever of preseason challenges that we've been rolling out. You maybe get a aftermarket part or other cool things by completing 5 challenges in that given week. They're doing the same now. They even show in like a screenshot that you get that rifle kit for the tier as one of the the perk for week 1. Then obviously if you do all of them, you get a brand new camo, which is really cool. So yeah, they're probably going to have a lot of cool rewards in there as well. And the challenges are usually pretty easy. Like, I've just been getting them without even trying. I'll just be playing a game and a challenge will pop up on the screen, and next thing you know, I'll have it completed and everything like that. And I know that they added that new LMG as a weekly challenge now, so I'm really hoping that maybe they bring future weapons or future surprise stuff there in these weekly challenges. Then obviously there is prestige challenges as well. So beginning in season 1, reaching rank 56 will unlock prestige 1. So, same exact system as last year. They also give what the badges will be for season 1's 5 prestiges. And then obviously it says, that unlocks rewards and a set of challenges. Complete those challenges to unlock multiple exclusive calling cards with separate sets of cards for both multiplayer and zombies. So once again, just prestige challenges, just like we had last year. It's identical to Modern Warfare 2 system. And it will include 5 prestige ranks, all the way up through rank 250. Right now we're maxed at 55. So basically the rewards, prestige 1, you get a whole bunch of calling card challenges the whole way up. Pretty much every prestige you just get more calling card challenges and emblem rewards. But at prestige 5, if you reach that, you get a blueprint reward, Venomous. a blueprint for the MTZ-556 AR with a focus on ADS speed, sprint to fire speed, and sprint speed. So a little bit more of a close quarters blueprint, it sounds like there. And then obviously, at the end of the season 1, you just kind of pick up where you left off. So they're not resetting the progress of anyone. If you reach max rank, that's where you pick up with season 2. If you only make it to level 124 or something like that, that's where you'll pick up, and it'll go on and on and on, probably until max level of 1,000 something, towards the end of this game's life cycle. So that's kind of how that's going. The last thing that they mention is DMZ is no more. So you guys probably seen this tweeted out a bunch today. A bunch of people were reacting to this. But DMZ is officially done. It is done, over with. You can still play it, but there's no new content coming to it. Its progression system has been officially cut off from the rest of Modern Warfare 3 and everything like that. So pretty much they are abandoning it. It sounds like they're taking what they quote-unquote learned from the DMZ beta to maybe bring it back. They tease bringing it back in a future game as well. So obviously, if you love DMZ, you can still play it today, but just know nothing new is coming to it, and you're not going to be getting any progression towards the Battle Pass or your level or anything like that in Modern Warfare 3. They do mention a couple things just about the COD League. I'm not really into professional COD scene that much, so I won't cover that here. Again, if you guys want to see anything that I covered today in more detail, I glossed over a bunch in this blog post. It is massive. I feel like I was scrolling for decades just reading through all this. So if you guys want to catch any of that stuff, make sure to click the link in the description. I have this blog post linked there. And then as always, let me know down below. I want to see you guys in that comment section. Let me know what you think of this season 1 content. Do you think it's worthy content? Do you think it's not enough content? What content that we talked about do you think you'll enjoy the most? And then obviously the huge bombshell. Let me know what you guys think about their statement on skill-based matchmaking or the matchmaking process in general. Do you guys have any faith that they'll be honest about it when they do come out fully and talk about it? And do you think they'll even change anything or just kind of tell us, tough, it is what it is? So let me know in the comment section below. And as always, guys, I know this has been kind of a long one. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this. And as always, make sure you're subscribed for more news just like this going forward for Modern Warfare 3. So until next time, guys, have a good one.